The brand new banners for the second half of Genshin Impact version 5.2 are here, and this is your final warning. Get out while you still can. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. You know, believe it or not, in some countries, if you put Vortex Vanquisher on the banner, you go directly to jail.
No trial, no nothing. Right to jail, right away.
I'm sorry, I just woke up. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, we're gonna go over the 5 stars, the 4 stars, and the weapon banner, and talk about if this banner is worth it or not. We're gonna talk about the elephant in the room first, and I guess the great blue dragon in the room, which is Neuvillette. If you want Neuvillette, he is worth getting. Like, despite how you may or may not feel about the 4 stars, Heizou's finally out from the basement. Hoyoverse has been keeping Heizou locked away. So all of you Heizou wanters, I have a good suspicion that a decent amount of you that are Heizou enjoyers are also either Neuvillette or Zhongli enjoyers. Not quite the same demographic, but I think generally speaking, most people into Heizou are into at least either Zhongli or Neuvillette. So this is probably a huge win for specifically Heizou enjoyers. So congratulations. Let's give a round to all the Heizou enjoyers. You must win. We all must lose, so you must win, or something like that. For most of us, Heizou is like not like a crazy pull, but you know, I know a lot of people have been really waiting for Heizou. Unfortunately, I have actually been waiting for Heizou, believe it or not. But the problem is I only have C1. I was hoping that he would be on a banner that actually had 5 stars that I didn't have, or maybe other 4 stars, and then I could somehow justify spending on one of these banners just to snipe 4 stars. But no, I have both of these at C6, and my Heizou's only C1, and I already have both of these 5 stars, and I don't get constellations unless I make a massive exception, which is so far has only been raiden. So yeah, that's definitely disappointing for me, but I think for most people this is going to be a win. But looking at the 5 stars, Neuvillette and Zhongli. If you want Neuvillette, you have to get Neuvillette. I really do want to stress that if you're a mobile player, getting Neuvillette plus a shielder, so whether that be Zhongli, whether that be Neuvillette C1, whether that be Baiju, whether that be just a Layla, a Kirara, well, yeah, a Kirara, because you can switch out and refresh the shield anytime you want. If you're a mobile player and you like Neuvillette's playstyle and you like his character, then he is a great pickup. If you're any player, and you just want a really strong character, he's a great pickup. I will say a lot of the showcases you see online are using his Constellation 1 and his weapon, which are both really big power spikes to him. He is not crazy powerful at Constellation 0 with a free-to-play weapon. I just want to put that out there. What makes him such a good DPS is his ease of use, his free-to-play friendly team options, because he's an HP scaler, he's not tied to certain units. So yeah, he has the best team with Shalonen and Kazuha and Farina, but there's plenty of other things you can do. You can throw in most other characters, and as long as they're doing something, and often even if 1 or 2 of them are really not doing something, you're still getting good clear times with Neuvillette, especially if Farina is one of those teammates. None of these teammates are really here. You don't generally want to be playing any of these characters with Neuvillette. Fischl is pretty fine, but definitely not like the craziest. She's even a bit better now that with the electrocharge buffs, but none of them are like crazy synergistic with Neuvillette. So if this was your time, you were gonna go for C1 Neuvillette. You know, it's not the best time 4-star wise, but with how many characters that Genshin has been pumping out, and I really hate to do the FOMO thing, but just remember how long it takes some characters to rerun. So the fact that he's rerunning now is great. You don't know when he's going to be back. So if he's your favorite character, you want to make sure you snag him. I also do want to say that yes, I do think he's the best DPS in the game, but just because he's the best DPS in the game doesn't mean that you have to get him. He's not the best by a country mile. There's tons of abysses where he's not even close to the fastest. If you're okay with reset impact, there's other characters that will reset and do much faster. Neuvillette is the best because he does the best AoE damage in the game. Really solid single target damage, and he's by far the easiest and most consistent DPS to pilot. So don't feel like pressured to get him just because he's the best DPS in the game. Make sure that the staying power is there. And for me, when you're pulling a character, the staying power is how much fun are they for you, which a lot of people don't find Neuvillette fun, and how much do you like the character design. So yeah, design and personality and whatever else you care about in a character. So yeah, you know, make sure you get him if you like him, and then, you know, honestly, make sure you skip them if you don't like them, because there's a lot of really good DPSs these days, and it's not like, you know, if you clear an AoE chamber in 5 seconds faster than the next character, it's not like it really matters, right? That being said, he's also great in the overworld because he's self-healing. He's also great in Imaginarium Theater because he basically works with anyone, so he really is the total package. He's a total bro, and he has great vertical investment with his C1 and his weapon, which can be, you know, can be kind of a good and a bad thing in a way, because it's good that you have that option. It's bad because it baits you into sucking more primos out of your savings, especially if you're pulling him for meta, because if you pull him for meta, then now you're really going to want to either, for sure, you're going to want either his C1 or his weapon, because if you have neither, it's kind of like, you know, is he really the best DPS without it? Probably still yes, but you know, it's a harder argument to make. So that is Neuvillette. Zhongli, really interesting. Zhongli is in a place where right now he's basically been fully power crept out of all of his best teams. So he's not ever the best in slot damaging option. But especially if you're a mobile player, people still use the crap out of Zhongli. He's consistently placed high in the usage rate charts. If I were you though, I would just wait a little bit longer, because we have Citlali coming in the next patch. And so just wait a little bit longer to see how strong her shield is. We've been talking about her on the channel. You can check out one of my other videos with Citlali. Her shield is weak, to be sure, but it's possible they buff it. It's possible they put a refreshing shield. So like, I would wait until the end of the patch before pulling Zhongli for meta or for comfort reasons. He's probably going to remain the best shielder in the game forever? Question mark. Are they really going to power creep an Archon? I was sort of hoping, against hope, I might add, that they would do something special for him and buff his weapon. That's what I was really hoping for. I'll talk about that when we do the weapon banner. The nice thing about Zhongli is that there's certain abysses that are like more aggressive, like the Tulpa, or other abysses that are just, there's enemies that just hit really hard. The Megu Kenki, triple Megu Kenki. It's really nice just to have a Zhongli that you can just throw in there, slap up his shield, and all of a sudden, like, you know, stuff isn't happening to you the same way anymore. But if we get a shielder in the future, like on the same lines of Baiju, you know, refreshing shield with more offensive capabilities, you know, that could be nice. And also, you can get away without Zhongli. There's other shielders. Like, you can just, like, go invest into one of your 4-star shielders, like your Layla or something, especially if it's for Arlecchino or Neuvillette. Like, you don't have to spend your 5-star pulls. Granted, Zhongli is one of the coolest designs in the game, and I would pull him just because he's so badass. Like, I will have order is just, like, incredible. It's a very, and the quality of life, like, if you're the kind of mobile player, or just any player that's, you know, you're doing your weeklies and you're fighting Ajdaha. I mean, who fights Ajdaha these days? But if you're fighting Ajdaha or some other weekly boss that's doing a chunky amount of damage to you, just being able to pull out your Zhongli and just take no more damage is really nice. So I can't really understate, like, how much, like, it's like two wolves, right? I can't understate how power crept he is by Xilonen, basically, because you basically don't run Zhongli now that there's Xilonen, if you're trying to be meta, because she is a healer after all, so that's your geo-defensive support utility. That's always better. But the other wolf is like, Zhongli is so unbelievably comfy, and a lot of people don't care about having the absolute meta team comp anyways. And if you have enough damage to clear the abyss, and you're just looking for something to make it more comfy, or to just make your experience more bulletproof, or you're just totally skill issue, which are all totally valid, by the way. I totally support skill issue players. Then Zhongli is a fantastic pull, the best pull. And he's still, like, despite him being power crept, he's still absolutely consistently one of the best and highest ranked characters on the best usage rankings for a reason. And that's because even though he's power crept for damage, he is not even close to power crept for comfort, and he probably won't be soon. So if you're looking for comfort, I still would just wait and see about Citlali, but he's probably going to be the most comfortable character to play forever and ever. So that's what I think. If you're in that camp, make sure you get Zhongli. If you're in the other camp, make sure you don't get Zhongli. Basically, I have strong opinions whether or not you should get Zhongli, depending on what type of player you are. And same with Neuvillette, honestly. These are very polarizing characters for who should get them or not. The 4-stars, neither 4-star... Oh, it's weird how zoomed in the Zhongli ones are. But anyways, neither 4-stars are particularly synergistic with the on-fielder character. You do have an aggravate team, I just realized here. You can drive with Heizou, you level 90 him and build him full EM, and then you've got Fischl and Yao Yao, and then your other aggregate is like Beidou or something, or Orororon. No, you can't do Orororon here. Some other Electro, I don't know. But yeah, you've got like basically an aggravate team. in the corner here, which Aggravate isn't that good of a team. It's okay. Like, don't get me wrong, it's okay. We haven't gotten any like dedicated Aggravate support, so it's feeling like a free-to-play kind of team right now. But Yao Yao, you know, is a free character of a year. Fischl is nice. Fischl's nice. Fischl's a very good character. And Heizou we already talked about. So, you know, Yao Yao, Dendro Healer, I think was a pretty solid free-to-play character back when she came out, and so far just hasn't gotten that many team options. With Fontaine and Natlan, we really just haven't gotten that many traditional Dendro team improvements. So Yao Yao just isn't, you know, she hasn't gotten much new stuff in a while. I made a Hopper Bloom Yao Yao team. Check out my free-to-play Farina teams guide. My top 10 4-star teams for Farina or something like that. Hopper Bloom, that was pretty fun. Fischl sees improvement after improvement. She got buffed from the recent reaction changes because she applies so much Electro and often builds some EM anyway. So she got, I found her teams did a decent amount more damage, like the electrocharge ones, and so it's like, it's not bad. It's like, I would say that, like, in terms of meta, both Yao Yao and Heizou are kind of like two duds, so it's kind of a 2-dud 4-star banner. But 4-star, like, good 4-stars are so hard to come by these days, as if we value 4-stars the way we used to. They're no Chevreuse or, you know, something like that. And finally, the weapon banner. This is easily the most disappointing part of this whole shebang. I was really hoping that Genshin Impact would do something for us and buff Vortex Vanquisher. Just make it HP scaling, or just do what. This is how you buff Zhongli. You just make Vortex Vanquisher actually do something. Make it do a ton of like HP scaling geo damage. Like, make it specific. I don't care. But buff this goddamn thing, because it's just an attack scaling polearm that doesn't even help his shield strength. It helps his shield strength when he's on field. It's the most asinine. It's so asinine, it's ass a 10, right? It's very, very sad to have the Vortex Vanquisher doing what it does, which is nothing. You pull this, and it's worse than the 3-star Black Tassel that you already have 67,000 of on your account. So that's really, really disappointing. I'm assuming they didn't buff it secretly, and I'm not missing, people are talking about it. I know it's ridiculous to wish that they would buff it. No. So yeah, so that is terrible, and that just completely ruins the banner. So if you were thinking of going for Neuvillette's weapon, now I would honestly say no, because there's basically, they haven't put a dud weapon, like a completely dud weapon on here in, like, I don't know, over a year, since Zhongli's last weapon banner. I don't know. They don't do dud weapon banners anymore, and this is one. At least it's just one fate point. So if you really, really hate yourself and you want to get yourself a copy of Vortex Vanquisher before you get Tome of the Eternal Flow, at least you'll only get one instead of two. At least that. Tome of the Eternal Flow is a really, really excellent catalyst, but if you're a Battle Pass enjoyer, the Battle Pass is great on Neuvillette. And also, you can just wait with the free-to-play weapon until his next rerun, honestly. And maybe if you really want to spend extra wishes on Neuvillette, you can go for a C1. I know the 4-stars aren't amazing, but I'd rather get extra copies of Fischl than I would get a Vortex Vanquisher. Although, you know, I mean, maybe it's worth it. Maybe you just pretend that if you lose, then you just get nothing, and you get more copies of Favonius Sword. If you don't have any Favonius Sword, hey, maybe you do go here. But just be careful if you do go for the weapon banner. Please don't. But if you do go for the weapon banner and you're hoping to get some Favonius Sword, remember, you have a 50% chance of getting none of these weapons, and then you have a 1 in 5% chance of getting Favonius Sword. So yikes. Is it really a 50? It feels so wrong, but that's what it is. At least that's how it is for the character banner. I think I'm right, but yeah, Middernass Waltz is Fischl's signature bow, but it's terrible on her. It's for her normal attack playstyle. Yikes. Dragon's Bane is a fine weapon, but it's only really good with, like, the refinements are only really useful on Hu Tao. Otherwise, it's just for EM Raiden. Sacrificial Fragments, good weapon. I use it a decent amount. Sucrose, Kokomi, etc. And then Fav Claymore. I don't think I use this on any good characters, but it's, I mean, Fav always has potential if they release more Claymore support characters in the future. They seem to release like one Claymore a year, and they're always a DPS. So we'll see. Overall, this is pretty clear. Hopefully through what I've been able to say, you can match what I've said with what you're looking for, and you know exactly whether you should pull and where you should pull, because I think it's very clear as long as you know what you're doing. If you're still having questions, go check out the Discord. It's in the description. They're very helpful over there, and they can help you figure out who you should wish for. Enter the contest. We're going to be giving away a Seatlali and a Moika. And subscribe, please. It really helps. If you don't want to do any of that, though, it's totally fine. Just watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.